This week's episode of Mind Gap Podcast is brought to you by Kyrius Rodhart's Necromancy Fences. Your yard is precious to you. It's your place to relax, cook, and spend time with your loved ones, which is why you need to make sure it stays protected. Fences are a great way to keep out strangers and unwanted animals, but you need to think about the fence that is right for you. You want to send a message that says, you come in here and your soul will become the mortar to bind your skeletal remains to my domain. Introducing Kyrius Rodhart's Necromancy Fences. Built from only the finest parts of fallen heroes, Kyrius Rodhart's Necromancy Fences create a dark, magical barrier of bones that will send a psychological message to any ne'er-do-wells while imprisoning the souls of any trespassers. Each fence is custom-made to your liking by the former Grand Zealot of the Society for Lichdom, using only the finest binding spells and demon-infused defense structures. Ready to take your property protection to the next level? Simply light some incense, present your jacinth gemstone and ornately carved bar of silver while speaking the dark incantation to be sent to the astral plane, and meet with Kyrius Rodhart himself to make an appointment. Mention Mind Gap Podcast during your meeting to get a free ornately decorated talking skull to be added to your fence. Don't let your home become prey for the wicked. Consume the souls of trespassers today with Kyrius Rodhart's Necromancy Fences. Hey dorks! Just a quick message reminding you to head over to twitch.tv/mindgappodcast and give us a follow. We live stream when we record our new podcast episodes, and we're live streaming video game sessions on Saturday nights at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. We're playing super rad stuff like Among Us, Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, Jackbox games, and Tabletop Simulator. Come hang out and play along with us. That's twitch.tv/mindgappodcast. Hello again, dear friend. On this week's episode, Justin weaves a tale about a man who attempted to give him advice on how to train his dog on 2 separate occasions. I asked Justin what orifices he'd be willing to poke and prod into for the sake of his wife's health, and Justin finally got around to watching The Mandalorian, so he has thoughts about it. So find the closest stranger, offer them unsolicited advice on how to live their life, and get ready to feel smug about it as we head into episode 254 of Mind Gap Podcast. Mind Gap Podcast. If you're not on Twitch, you should be, because Justin was doing a silly little bit with his hair, and now it's going to drive him nuts for the next hour and a half. So,
oh, yeah. I'm not going to be. If you see me looking somewhere else on screen, it's because I'm looking at myself trying to figure out how I can make this better.
I know what it is. Happening? I know what it is.
What's this little boingy guy thing?
A boingy? Here? Oh, you got a boingy?
See it? Boingy?
Yeah. Boing. How are you, man?
Oh, man, I'm good.
Good.
The world's falling apart. I'm going to hell in a handbasket. Trump's pulling us out of the WHO. What's that? DeVos lady is like, I demand all schools be open in the fall, regardless of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Shit's horrible right now, man.
Yeah, man. It's tough. It is tough.
How are you?
I'm okay. Because you know what? Last Saturday, on the 4th of July, I had a wonderful time on our video game Mind Gap stream, Mind Gap video game live stream, with some amazing folks. We played Jackbox games. We played all the party packs that I own.
That's awesome.
And we had some amazing fun with Slotty, with Noah Reno, with Duffy's 91, with D. Cochran 84, with who else? A lot of Badgers, with Jared. We had the whole kit and caboodle, man. We had a wonderful time. And go ahead.
Got a chance to see a sneak peek of the highlight reel, and I can confirm, holy shit, you guys did have a good time.
We had a really good time, and that's just a mere 3.5 minutes of the shit show.
How long were you guys streaming?
About 3 hours.
Nice.
Yeah, as Slotty says, all the Garbage Pail Kids were there. We had a real good time. It was really fun. My favorite part was when D. Cochran 84 challenged Duffy's to Joke Boat. So we immediately went from Murder Trivia to Joke Boat, and then we went to Quiplash, and then we went to TKO, and then we played all the games. It was so much fun. We had a really good time. There were some great times had by all. It was a real hoot. So
I love it.
very, very fun. So
I'm into
very
it.
exciting. Speaking of,
Yes.
next Saturday, gang, get ready to saddle up with the Dungeon Karens as they head back into the D&D fantasy board game, 8 p.m. Saturday night. Come hang out. Justin will be reprising his role as Miley, the elven wizard. We'll have our good friend Eric playing Josen the cleric. We'll have Sam playing Regdar the warrior, and we'll have Jared from all the way down under playing Lita the rogue. And I'm so excited because this is adventure number 3. This is as far as I've ever gotten as the dungeon master, and I'm really curious to see how you guys do in this little adventure. It's going to be fun.
So I would like to clarify, because Eric the cleric is going to be wait a second, a dull moment. What is trademark infringement? I'm not sure I understand.
Well, I think he has trademark infringement, so I don't know.
My bad.
Now I know what he's talking about.
No,
now I get it.
I did that for sure, yeah. No, I would like to clarify that Eric the cleric will 100%, he will be leading us to victory, because he is our guiding light in this game.
It's going to be a fun time. I'm going to tell you, it's going to get interesting. We'll see how you guys play it, but it'll be interesting. I'm so excited. It's going to be really great.
We're going to win. That's I've got
I hope you do. That's the whole point, is I want you guys to win. I just want it to be interesting. That's the only thing I ever want. So it's the only thing I've ever wanted. So
you just want us to do it. You're always on our side, Doug.
I am. You
got our best interest at heart.
Always and forever. So check that out. That's Saturday, July 11th, 8 p.m. Central, twitch.tv/MindGap Podcast. Come hang out. Do the next adventure in Dungeons & Dragons, the fantasy board game. It's going to be fun. So, one more housekeeping item. Just want to talk about real quick. Listen, it's a dangerous world out there. It's dangerous to go alone, as a pixelated old man said to a small elven child in a game many, many years ago. So, you need to protect yourself, right? You need to wear a face mask. Look, MindGap has face masks, all right? Head over to teespring.com/stores/2, the letter E, the number 8. That's 2E8. We've got 2 East 8th face masks, and we've got MindGap face masks. They're pretty cheap. They're like $12, 10, 12. I can't remember. It's 11 or 12 bucks. I think it's $11.99. That's where it is. Yes. Go pick them up.
Make you talk like this.
Not only do you get yourself a face mask so you can stay safe and keep others safe, you get to support the podcast, and for every face mask that is purchased, Teespring will donate $1 to the No Kids Hungry campaign. So it's a win on 3 fronts. Go check it out. We're very happy.
We call that a win-win-win.
A win-win-win.
That's the technical term for it.
A 3-way, I think, is what we call it. So
bingo
bango. So go check that out. I've actually got one coming on the way, so I'm very excited. Jared, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. You're very kind. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We appreciate you. So enough of the housekeeping. Justin,
housekeeping.
I want to hear from you about something very special. Tell me about what's going on with you and your dog.
So, Doug, you are a new dog owner, yes?
Yes.
That's correct. You have beautiful little Loki as a part of your family now?
I do.
All right. So you have something to look forward to, because something that you should know about dog owners, most dog owners are cool. There are some dog owners that you are going to want to put through a wall because they think that they are the dog whisperer. They think they are Caesar.
All right.
Right. There's a guy in my neighborhood, and I hadn't thought about him since last winter was when my first run-in with him was. So last winter I was outside playing fetch with Abby, and Abby has fluctuated in weight. She's been, when we got her, she was undernourished and she was real teeny. And then she filled out, and then she kept filling out. She slimmed down, and now she's healthy. We'll put it that way, right?
Okay.
She's a little torpedo. So I'm playing fetch with her, and she's fucking real good for like 5 or 6 long, hard tosses. Like she'll snag it each time. And then she starts to lose a little steam, but she still likes to play. So I'm out there throwing the frisbee and I look over and there's this guy across the field and he's got Abby is an Australian cattle dog. And there's another breed called the Australian Shepherd. And a lot of people know them as like wiggle butts because they got the short little tail. And when they wiggle,
I love it. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
But they're also they're jumpy. And so this dog, he would throw the frisbee and this thing would get like 5, 6 feet off the ground, like snag it. And like, it was one of those trick dogs and he was doing I was like, that's cool. And so we're playing and he starts throwing the frisbee closer to us and closer to us until he and I are standing probably, 5 feet apart from each other, tossing it. And he's watching me and I keep looking over and I've said my obligatory hello. I'm like, hey, what's going on, man? Hey. And so he's watching me and I look over. I'm just like, your dog's pretty good at this. Like, basically, like, are you looking to start a conversation with me? He goes, you should try throwing it because Abby had missed a few catches. He goes, you should try throwing it not as hard. He goes, if she doesn't have to run as far for it, she'll get it and she'll feel a sense of accomplishment. And I go, okay. And so I threw it again and she missed it. He goes, try even closer. And I went, we're not doing this. I go, cool, thanks, man. Picked it up and we walked out. And because the inside, the Bill Burr was starting to build up. And I'm just like, let's talk about how to fucking, go fuck yourself. So, so I was like, well, this guy's just a jagoff. So, I saw him from a distance for a couple more months and, then I didn't see him for a while. And on the 4th of July, Abby is notorious for hating firecrackers, any loud noises, freaks her out. So I had her out at night, last walk of the night. It was about 10 o'clock. Fireworks were going crazy. So I'm out there and who walks over but fucking Caesar himself with his dog off leash, just strolling along in the park. He's got his little yellow fucking frisbee. And he goes, and Abby's standing there, ears pinned, and she's just looking around. And he goes, hey, best night for dogs, isn't it? And I go, I know, man. I said, mine's scared to shit of this. And he goes, not mine. Mine's pretty okay with everything. I'm like, oh, that's right. I hate you. And he goes, hey, little tip, don't take her off leash tonight. And Doug, I'm telling you, it took everything I had not to take her off leash and then strangle him with the fucking leash.
And have her bite his balls.
Oh, really? Let me give you some advice. Your dog likes food. Sometimes you should feed it. Do you also know they need water? If they poop in the house, you got to rub their I'm like, what the fuck? So if anyone ever tries to give you advice, just take the high ground and walk away because it's so easy to just turn on them and just want to. There's nothing more infuriating.
It's really upsetting. Just in general, because it wasn't advice you solicited. So, I mean, that alone is always immediately like, I'm not asking.
This fucking guy.
I'm good. And also, like, every dog's a little bit different. I mean, I know there's some stuff that applies, in general, like this is how you potty train. This is how, you get them to be kind of part of the pack and you bond with them and things like that. But to be like, what you ought to do is, it's like, cool, man, that worked for your dog. It may not work for mine. Like it's just the kind of the way it is. So,
well, also don't tell me how to fucking play with my dog. First off,
right.
You should try shorter tosses so she doesn't have to.
I mean, it's one thing if you're like he's at your apartment and you're like, man, my dog, she's just fat. Right. I don't know what to do. He might be like, well, maybe you should take her on a walk. Like
right.
A good suggestion.
We were in conversation, right?
Yeah,
but I'm just like, I feel like he thought I was gonna go. Tell me more. Can I sign up for classes?
Yeah.
Do you do e-classes on dog training? Because I don't know. I thought I had a cat. Thank you for coming along and telling me I have a fucking dog.
I mean, I would love to get to a point where I don't have to have Loki on a leash. That'd be great.
And the thing is, I take Abby off leash all the time.
You do.
She's totally fine.
Yeah.
I know my dog well enough to know that night she wasn't coming off the leash.
Yeah.
And then this fucknut walks up past me and is like, hey, little tip, don't take her off leash tonight.
Yeah, it's like, hey,
no
little
shit.
thing. Don't eat dinner in the street tonight.
Right.
Tonight. Rest
Sir,
of the time, fine, but not tonight.
Allow me to reciprocate. Tonight, don't wipe before you poop. It's a waste
Here's something,
of time.
sir. Never pet a burning dog. Let me tell you that.
There you go. Don't pee into the wind.
Yeah. How about that?
Easy. Yeah.
Right.
Have you had anyone try to give you advice or anything unsolicited with Loki?
No, not yet, thankfully.
Oh my God.
Because she's a puppy. So right now she just
Yeah.
loves everybody that she sees.
Sure.
So she just runs up to him. She's like, "Oh, you're the best." Everyone's like, "Oh, she's just so adorable." I'm like, "Yeah."
You know what this guy would say?
Yeah.
Yeah, you better make sure she doesn't jump up on people. Not everyone like that. And they might be allergic too.
Yeah.
You should
Thanks.
probably ask them for a full medical record before they pet your dog.
Yeah. I'll take their blood. You know.
Yeah.
I'll take everything from them. You know. Slotty says, "Nah, bro, my dog actually consumes her poop. I feed her this super healthy blend of all natural meats, and she's kind of like a perfect circle."
You ever heard of Second Harvest?
My dog's belly's like the Thunderdome. Two things enter, no person leaves. I consume all waste. Duffy's91 says one of his dogs has anxiety and eats through drywall to get into his closet. Wonder what your guy would say about that.
It's Slotty replies.
You gotta love your dog.
Yeah. You know, drywall actually isn't great for dogs. Very low nutrients. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's
I'll throw it out to
frustrating.
all the people on Twitch right now. Give me your best dog advice, please. Light up the comments. Let us know. What should I give? What advice should I give this guy? That's what I want to know. Light it up in the comments. Tell me what I should tell this guy.
You probably
next time I
shouldn't
see him.
fuck your dog.
You see how your dog tucks himself when you walk behind him? Yeah, he knows.
Yeah, don't
We all
fuck your
know.
dog.
Fella.
You heard it here. Don't
Right.
fuck your dog.
Don't fuck your dog.
Pee on me, daddy. That's right.
That's right. It's just so
what is it
fucking
about that?
infuriating.
What is it about that? People just because
Ah,
offering advice. Because I think my initial thing is like I don't like feeling stupid, and sometimes you got to feel stupid, right? And that informs my
yes.
decisions in most things. It's why I don't always ask questions. It's why I should say something or do something, but I'm like, oh, I'm gonna feel stupid, so I don't do it. But something about just purely unsolicited. You know what you should do?
Right.
What is it about that? Because that's a trigger for me, big time.
it really is. Because the thing is, it's taken me a long time to realize that it's okay to not know. It's okay to say, you know what? I don't know about that. Educate me. Tell me. Because if you act like you know everything all the time, you just come off looking like an asshole. And so like it was a hard lesson to learn that. And once I finally learned it, it was freeing to be able to go, you know what? I don't know that thing.
Yeah.
But I think what it is someone coming in. You know what it is? I think it's the fact that that person hasn't learned that lesson yet.
Yeah.
And now you're like, oh, that's why I don't do that, because it makes you look like a jagoff.
Yeah. I think, part of it is, people probably also don't understand how they come off. Like, I wonder if that guy maybe was like, I'm going to offer this person advice because maybe they don't know.
Maybe he was pure of heart. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that stuff is easily misinterpreted. And I'm definitely not saying that's what happened, but maybe that's what their approach to it was. But that triggers me because my mom says that kind of stuff to me so often, like in ways that just makes me want to just, it's to a point where whatever my mom suggests to me, I immediately just do the opposite. And that's not a good thing. But I'll give you an example.
Yeah, please.
I was back in home in good old Missouri, and
we gonna get you.
I was gonna go out. This was probably like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Like this wasn't like 15. And she was like, hey, I'm gonna go out and do this sort of stuff. She's like, when you come back, can you make sure to lock the door? I was like, sure. She goes, you know how to lock the door, right? And I looked at her like, yeah. You turn. And it was just one of those things where I'm like, look, you just can't talk to people that way. Like of
course I know how to lock the door. Where do you keep your Scotch tape?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't, well, it's one of those things too, where it's just, after the fact, I think of so many more jokes, that I should have said to piss her off, because at that point, I just, I don't like. Another one was, this is so random. I love my mom, but my mom is just, she's a very special woman. We were going to go on a cruise, and this was like the second or third cruise that Jill and I had been on. My mom was just getting really weird about like these rules. She was like, now, it's really important that, I can't remember what the lead up to it was, but ultimately she goes, all right, I'm just going to come out and say it. Jill can't be pregnant and be on this cruise. And I just looked at her. I'm like, looked at Jill and I looked back at her. I'm like, she's not pregnant. I was like, why are you saying this? No, this is like the third cruise we've been on. Like, why are you saying this? And after the fact, I had the perfect response, which was like, Mom, we butt fuck. There's no chance she's gonna be pregnant. There's no chance whatsoever. We're fine. I would love to see her go, yeah. I unload in her ass. We're good.
I finish on her tits. It's okay.
The best part would be for Jill to be like, he fucks me in the ass. We're fine. Right. Like, just no big deal. Like, that would have been the best thing in the world.
Not the way we're doing it.
Oh, Mom, don't worry. The seed's not getting anywhere where it needs to go. Trust me. You haven't even heard some of the shit we've invented, Mom, you ever heard of hentai?
Right. Mom, you ever heard of poop jaculating my moist missile?
Because it happens. Trust me.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. I just poop jaculated my moist missile. That was from a conversation I had with my mom,
Yeah.
I love these jokes that keep coming back.
Oh, no, Mom, she pegs me. So,
I got pegged. Yeah. It's totally fine. Yeah, she just totally milks my prostate. So we're good. And then she just pours that into a cup and then drinks it. So we're good.
That's it.
I love, Jervis says, your mom probably puts fruit in her potato salad. I would never listen to her advice.
You're not wrong. It's just
I never trust anyone who puts fruit in their potato salad. But yeah, I think it's something about, because that's just like treating someone like they're dumb, and I've had that most of my life, so I just instantly rebel because I'm like, I'm not going to do that. My mom's like, what's a great movie? Is this movie? I'm like, I'm actually going to assume that's false because I don't trust your judgment.
Right.
I don't trust it. Oh, you're going to love this. I'm like, you're the person who made me watch a Mary-Kate and Ashley something movie because she purchased this because it took place at the Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas. And she apparently just likes to watch movies that have beautiful locations. And she literally was like, let's watch this movie because we're going to be going there because we were going to. And I'm like, what? Why are we watching this? And she's like, see this? This is where we're going to be. I'm like, why? We could just go to the internet. The internet has photos. We don't have to watch this movie.
A travel video?
I don't know. I just don't know. But it was really upsetting that I'm like, you paid real American dollars for this video because it takes place at the Atlantis Resort? It's like...
That's a bummer, man.
Waterspeed says your mom really wanted a girl.
You know what? Waterspeed, it's sounding that way. It's really sounding that way.
You're probably not wrong. I mean, it was my dad, my brother, and I, and my mom, so... My mom was always very happy when my brother and I had girlfriends. She was like, yes! Feminine
Doug was
energy.
The disappointment. They had Dave, and they were like, we're going to try one more time.
Like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Jervis calls it Mind Gap Pegcast. I'd stream that.
I would, too.
Woo! Yeah, that was...
So I'm curious to hear when it finally starts to happen. Have you ever had that happen from a parental standpoint? Because you've had Natalie for 4 years now.
No, thankfully not. Like, I don't have anyone that comes up and is like, what you ought to do? I'll be like,
right. At the playground or anything, you've never had that?
Thankfully, no. Because I'd like to say because she's so young, I haven't gotten yet, but I'm pretty sure that happens no matter what, no matter where you are. But if anything, it's just like, I just try to be aware of like what she's doing and just being like, hey, don't be a dick,
Yeah.
Hey, don't do that. Hey, be careful of this, be careful of that. Or, she does a relatively good job. And it's the same thing. Like, unless a kid is really going to be at harming themselves, like I've actually had no problem like parenting like Jill's nieces and nephews. Just being like, now that I have a kid, I'm like, whoa, what are we doing here? Like, time out. No. Favorite thing, this happened. The other night, we got a new sink installed. And this plumber came over. It's a guy I know. And Jill and I were outside. We were talking about something. And Natalie came inside. She walks over into the kitchen. She pulls out a butter knife. And she gets up this can of cat food. And she just goes, I'm going to feed the kitties. And then the plumber's like, okay, why do you have a knife? She goes, I do this all the time. He goes, do your parents know? She goes, yeah. He looked at her, looked outside and saw us, looked back at her and goes, are you sure? Because I think they're outside. She goes, oh, you're right. I didn't. And then put it down and then went out to ask us.
I didn't.
And I was like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm going to feed the kitties. I'm like, no. And I came inside. He goes, yeah, I saw her doing that. And I thought I would just warn her because he has like 4 sons. And he's like,
okay.
I'm like, he gets it. Like, it's just that natural thing of like, if I didn't have kids, I'd probably be like, well, maybe she does do this all the time.
Well,
I mean,
and that's the thing. I 100% feel that way. Like when we are watching our nieces or nephews, I feel this weird, like, hey, you just stop hitting your, all right, maybe hit your brother. I don't know. Like, I don't know what you guys do. I don't know what kids are supposed to do. Is this normal? Maybe. I don't know.
And the thing is, like, I want to believe my daughter. I literally just go, because when we let our dog out, our dog eats the cat food, chews up shoes. So we go, is everything picked up before we let the dog out? And Natalie goes, yep. And I listen to her, and I know better. I want to accept her word, but it's like inevitably I go, oh, wait, there's cat food out. Oh, wait, the barrier upstairs not put up. I'm like, we didn't have any of this taken care of. But then I'm like, I listen to a 4.5-year-old, so I get what I get.
I brought this on myself. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things where when I didn't have kids, I was like, well, I mean, they said it was cool.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm going to go along with it. Whereas now I'm like, hold on, where the fuck are your parents? Go get them right now.
Jared says him as an uncle, and that resonates with me so fucking much. He goes, sure, it seems like you should eat a whole tub of ice cream for dinner.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
I just don't understand where kids should be at certain ages. And I'm like, yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah. I definitely
don't know if you say it, it's probably true.
I'm happy to call kids out now. I'm like, hold on, time out.
Right. I
know. Penalty flag.
Yeah.
I just want to.
Your parents are going to thank you. Thank me. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't let that. I'm just like, because part of it too is a lot of it's selfish because I don't want Natalie to pick up bad habits. So if I see another kid doing something wrong and Natalie's going to mirror it, I go, no, we're not going to do that. Or if it's potentially they're going to hurt themselves, obviously I'll step in. I'm not going to sit there and berate their kid, but if like we're at the playground and some kid's going to be like, I'm going to jump off the top of this playground, I'll be like, hey, whoa, I don't think you should do that. Hold up, But I feel much more comfortable just to make sure everyone's okay. Outside of that, I'm like, look, I'm not here to police your kids or anything like that. I don't
right. Well, and I think with anything you get experience. Like you're getting experience points doing the parent thing.
Leveling up.
Exactly, you're leveling up and you're feeling more comfortable. Think about when you start a new job. You really don't feel. Someone might do something. You're like, that doesn't feel right. But I also just started here a week ago, so. Yeah. Maybe that's how they do things here. Yeah. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. Yeah. And then 2 years in, you're like, hey, it's not how we do it.
Yeah.
Let me stop you right there. You're so ready to tell someone what to or what not to do.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of, you're 4.5 years in now, you're getting comfortable with. Now, me, on the other hand, I'm just like, I don't know. I have no authority. Well, I'm an adult, maybe.
I mean, part of it, too, is just, again, I'm not here to make judgments on how people do stuff, but if the kid or my kid's going to be in a worse spot because of someone's behavior, then I'm going to try to make something happen, or I'm going to try to make a call on Audible or something just to make sure that everyone's okay. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's selfishly motivated, but at the same time, maybe it works for the greater good. Who knows? But yeah. Water Speech just asked, how does young Natalie feel about wearing a mask in public? Well, she doesn't go out in public that much. We don't go to stores with her or anything.
That doesn't let her see the outside.
But when we did go to get Loki, I made her wear a face mask. So we went.
How'd she handle it?
The face mask was unfortunately way too big for her.
Was it?
So it kept slipping off all the time, but I tried to adjust it regularly. But we explained to her.
I was going to say, have you had the conversation about what this is, what's going on? Like, how do you reach that?
I've told her that really a pandemic really comes down to not just jumping from animal to human, but also going from human to spreading. And when that happens, the economic impact can be severe. And what we're going through right now is a recession and very closely heading into a depression. They say that the stock market is a pulse of the livelihood of our country, but honestly, it's really not what it's about. It's really about, it's there to make rich people feel better. And when I tell her all these things, she goes, that's cool. Can I have a hot dog? So I feel like we're making a connection.
I get it, man.
I get it. Honestly, I mean, I tell her about as much as a 4-year-old can understand. I'm like, people are sick.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be sick. And we have to stay home, and she seems to understand for the most part. She's definitely over it, but
I just feel like as a kid, that would scare me if I heard my parents say like, "Hey, everyone out there is sick. You've got to stay inside
yeah.
because we don't want to die."
Well, I mean, it's the thing too is she doesn't fully understand all that stuff, but I'm just like, hey, if you're not feeling well, if you're not, we just have to make sure that we don't get sick because we don't want that to happen. But it is hard to understand. But good news, fucking slotty. Have you also told her the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? It's not a story a Jedi would tell you. It's one of those things where.
Sorry, I was late in the queue.
It's definitely something I try to be honest. I'm kind of like Dr. Cox in that episode of Scrubs where he's trying to be a straight shooter with his kid.
Yeah.
He just tells him everything like an adult would. And his wife's like, what are you doing? You're not raising a beer buddy. This is your son. He's like, I want my son to be a straight shooter. And it's like, what, he's like, what's wrong with that lady? He's like, well, she's fat. So she's coming in here to get heart surgery or whatever. And the culmination of it was like, his son asks, what's an abortion? And his mom turns to him and is like, good luck with that. And like walks away. Like, have fun explaining that. But I want to be able to have those kind of conversations because the one thing, sure. And maybe, I don't know, anyone out there who has kids already, but when I hear the what am I supposed to tell my kids thing, I just immediately get angry because I'm like, I don't feel like it should be this hard to explain things to my kids. Now, my kid's 4.5, and maybe something, I think the only thing I could imagine would be if she's like 8 or 9 and maybe someone her age dies from like a sickness or something. And she asks me, Dad, why did this happen?
Right.
Then I have to be like, careful, Doug. Don't go into like, we're living in a wheel of chaos and none of this matters. But that should give you hope because none of this matters. Enjoy life. Like, I don't see it that way, Dad. I'm like, yeah, well, it's kind of a weird one. But in general,
shit's weird. Sorry, kid.
The amount of times I've seen stuff and people are like, how am I supposed to explain this to my kids? There was a video, apparently they aired this on Nickelodeon, which I think was a little harsh, but it was an advertisement about, I Can't Breathe, from George Floyd. And it was just like breathing in and out. It was like some words on the screen and this woman had recorded and her son's like, I'm scared. I don't understand. This lady's like, how dare you, Nickelodeon? How dare you? And I'm like, this is a great opportunity to have a conversation with your kid.
Right.
Why are you seeing this ad? It's scary because something bad happened.
Right. Here's the truth of what happened, and here's what. That sets up literally that tees you up for the conversation that everyone should be currently having.
We can't all dunk, but when someone gives you the alley oop, you got to try. You got to try.
Thank you, Nickelodeon. Let's start there. Let's say thank you.
Got to give that a shot. So that's the kind of stuff where I want to protect my kid's innocence, and her name was Karen, probably. I want to protect my kid's innocence as much as possible. Like, there's nothing worse than seeing like an 8 or 9-year-old that has to like immediately shed that and go into adulthood. But at the same time, it's like, this is the world we live in, man. Like, I'm not going to have a conversation about what death means to my 4.5-year-old, but at some point she's going to understand that my cat Taco, she's going to go down real soon. And we're going to have to talk about why Taco's not here anymore. Like, we're going to have those discussions, and it's not going to be great, but we're going to have to do it. So,
and while you want to preserve that innocence, at the same time, you also don't want to shelter her to the point of being an incapable human being, 100%. Like incapable of processing or understanding emotions. That does nothing for anyone.
Yeah, and not only that, just having discussions now, and hopefully many discussions about complicated, nuanced issues like racism, like abortion, like death, like all these things, which we can explore through the themes of, Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, trilogy. And
you get it.
All that sort of stuff. Like, it'll be great.
You get it.
It'll be awesome. So, long story short, no one's forced their advice on me or anything like that. I would probably be polite and be like, okay, and then just walk away. But,
I'm telling you, if it happens one more time with this guy, I'm going to say something.
That's the thing that's crazy is that he came back again. That's the disappointing part.
When I've seen him, like I said, from afar, and I think I'm going to use this. Slotty earlier in the chat here said, when I asked for what to say to this person, he goes, you should say, I noticed you always smell of peanut butter. Do I need to report you?
Is there something going on here, sir?
And I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it.
Slotty also says it's crazy to me that my 8-year-old, when asked if there's God in heaven, immediately says no, that's made up. But Santa, oh yeah, that shit's real.
She gets it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jervis, you're just trying to start fights. Pretty sure an Australian Shepherd isn't a real Australian dog.
Thank you. So that's the thing. I'm gonna challenge him. I'm like, yeah.
Justin, do your research and find a flaw in his dog's breed and then bring it to his attention.
Yeah.
Did you know they're very prone to diabetes? Type 2.
Do you know most owners of this breed are complete jagweeds?
Yeah.
It's the truth.
It's the truth. The internet said so.
Done.
That one always gets me. That's weird. So, I had an interesting conversation with Jill over the weekend, and I want to bring it to you. So,
please.
I'm trying to remember the genesis of this.
You guys have the most interesting conversations.
I can't remember. I don't know if because I'm teaching Natalie bad habits while we're on the topic too, where she'll be like, "Dad, where's this?" I'm like, "I don't know. Is it up your butt?" That's becoming an ongoing thing. And then she leans into it, God bless her. And she'll be like, "Yeah, can you look in there?" And she'll turn around and stick her butt in my face. I'm like, "You're the best. You're the best." So, can't remember, because this was also at having lunch or something like that. I was like, "Is it in your butt?" And she's turning around in her chair. She's like, "Yeah, it's in my butt," and wiggling it and something like that. And I can't remember how this came up.
Your butt.
There it is. God, you're on it. I love it. But I think I asked her something like, "Jill, if something was stuck up my butt, if she would help get it out." And she was like, "No." I'm like, "What? Why not?" Or maybe it was something that was stuck in a mouth or something, or
in a mouth,
I don't know,
or in your mouth.
I mean, we have a lot of just headless or heads just hanging around, and we just pick something in there.
There's a lot of mouths in our house.
There is. You can really just shove some flowers in there. It really makes a good vase. Just,
right?
Or a vase if you're a plebe, whatever. Anyway, somehow it came up the idea of like orifices, and what are they ranked from like, "Oh my God, I have no problem doing this," to "Hell no, I'll never help you.
All right,
clean that out or get anything out." And oddly enough, Jill's ranking on this surprised me a little bit, but I want to start with you, and I want to say, like, let's say you're with Beth and she's got something in her mouth, all right? And she needs your help. How comfortable are you with like just getting in there, digging out whatever's in there?
Well, I will say that
people can't get enough gobby. So true.
So I think that answers that question.
I mean, that does relate. It does relate.
If there's something in her mouth, yes, 100%. I'll help out. Now, are we talking like is it like a piece of food in her teeth?
Yeah, I mean, let's start there. There's a piece of food in her teeth. She can't get it out.
I'll suck the food out.
Nice. That's cool.
What if
it's a situation where it's like a castaway and she needs someone to pull out a tooth?
Ooh, that's interesting.
You gotta take the skate and then take a rock and go pop, pop, pop and get the tooth out of her mouth. And the first time you hit it, she goes, "Ah!"
Let me ask you this. How dire is it that this thing come out?
I mean, you guys are castaways.
Is it a life and death tooth extraction?
I mean, here's the thing. If you leave it in, it's only going to get worse. And you know this. Because you're like, there's no way this is magically going to get better. You got to get that tooth out.
Okay. If I... okay.
Because I like exploring these in levels,
Oh, no, this is your fit, and you do this so fucking well. You do this better than anyone I think I've ever spoken with or experienced this with. You will go, here's the thing. All right, here's a thing, ratchet it up a little bit. Now here's a thing past the point of there's no returning.
Yeah. Because we'll start small with food in the teeth, and now let's say you got to extract a tooth, and you're not a dentist.
Here's the thing. If it had to come out, sure. I'll step up. I'll do it. God, I just can't even imagine how unpleasantly painful that would be. Just fucking. Ugh.
And knowing that you got to be like, hold still. As you get the rock, you're like,
right.
This is going to suck for all of us.
Is there booze around?
Probably not. There's sand.
All right. Well, look, any alcoholic worth his weight can make booze out of sand. So I would start there.
It's gritty, but it does the job.
Yeah, man. Because I'm thinking, like, is there any way to, numb anything when you're a castaway? What if we started a fight club and it just fell out?
What, her tooth?
Yeah. Just.
You're like, all right, come over here. Take out your frustrations on me. But just know, I'm taking them out on you too.
I probably, again, I would extract it if it needed to get got.
But the idea of the mouth itself isn't too like
the mouth
gross.
itself is fine. No, yeah. I'm okay with that. I would get in there and I'd dig around.
Yeah, me too. Like,
yeah,
getting something out of a mouth doesn't really bother me too much. I guess just to say with my immediate family.
Sure.
A complete strangers, I might be like, I don't know, but
especially nowadays, that changes.
Yeah,
but
I've seen 28 Days Later. I know what happens.
I know how this ends.
So let's talk about ears. All right. So Beth is
talk about them.
Beth is like, she's got some sort of numbing agent in her body, and she can't clean out her ears, and she needs you to do it.
So her hands are just completely.
She's just like, I can't do it.
Right.
Clean out my ears.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
I'm fine with it. I would even take tweezers and extract something on the surface. Like I would get in there and try to pull something out.
What if?
Yeah.
What if?
Yeah.
He's like, God, Justin, my ear has been driving me crazy. I think there's something in there, and I don't want to go to the doctor. I don't trust doctors for some reason. She's that
That's
person.
fair.
She's like, I need you to really be very careful and get in there. And as you get some tools together, you're going in there and you realize that there's big old bug that's stuck in there, and you got to get the tweezers in. You got to extract that guy out. Yeah.
Oh, that thing's coming out. Yeah,
for sure.
Because here's the thing. Here's the flaw in that question is that would I rather leave a bug inserted in my wife's head, or would I rather get it out? I'm getting the fucking thing out.
Well, would you rather get a bad tooth out of your wife's mouth, or would you just leave it in there?
I answered that I would.
You hesitated though. See, you gave me a lot of attitude on that one. You're like, that's easy because I just ripped that shit out of there. I cut her ear off. That's fine with me. But when I talk about the mouth, you're like, ugh.
Look how creative Picasso was.
Jervis, we're getting there. Hold on to it. All right, we got a list. All right, hold on.
You jumped too far.
You're too far. We're.
In fairness, he is in tomorrow, so he's already at the end of this list.
That's fair. But we'll get to the butt in a second.
Here's the thing.
Clip that, somebody.
A carnivorous bug in my wife's ear.
Timestamp that.
I feel like is a more immediate poses a more immediate threat than a tooth.
True.
So that's why I hesitated. I'm like, well, let's just see what happens with the tooth. Maybe it gets so bad it falls out on its own. I don't know. With the bug,
dentistry.
We're probably going to have to extract.
Yeah, I agree. I'm the same boat.
I'm more familiar with ear, nose, throat than I am with orthodontics.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, that's good. So let's move on to the nose. Same situation. Can't move her arms. She's got to, and she's like,
I want to address what kind of anesthetic what did she get into that's causing this?
She got stung by an Australian shepherd. And it paralyzed her for a momentarily.
See? Those fucking dogs, man.
They got stingers.
Those fucking dogs.
They got real bad venom.
They do. Ugh. Guy's the worst.
So you got a nose issue. She's all blocked up, and she's like, I don't have any Kleenex. I need you to get in there with your hand and dig it out.
Not a problem.
Cool. Love it.
I'd get in there. I'd stick a finger up, and I'd
just go.
Yep.
Nice.
And then
there you go. All right, let's talk about poppin' zits. All right.
Oh, let's talk about poppin' zits.
So, same
One of
situation.
Her favorite shows is Dr. Pimple Popper. Have you ever watched that show?
Do you like that show?
She loves it.
She does, but what about you?
She loves it. It has taken me a while to be able to watch any of it.
Jervis says,
nope. I like popping my own zits.
I do.
I would do it.
Same thing. She got stung by an Australian shepherd. You got to roll her over. She's like, my back hurts. You see this big, old, just zit, and you got to be like, Pop
Well,
that sucker.
it depends on the stage of the lipoma, because what I have learned from watching Dr. Pimple Popper is that it's not always good to get in there and try to pop it out,
That's
because you got to
false.
get the satchel that it's in.
That's
Because if you
false.
don't get
You always
that,
gotta try.
if you don't get the satchel, it can refill.
Good to
You
know.
don't want that. You don't want that.
You want it to refill.
You got to
So
pop
no
that
problem
out.
with zits. So far,
No problem
Justin,
with
I gotta say, you are 5 for 5. You're a good significant other.
I'm also 5 for fighting.
All right, there you go. Next one.
Where do you stand on all these, by the way?
I'm in the same boat so far.
So far, you're all in.
I skipped over eyes. Let's talk about eyes.
Eyes are tricky for me.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: if it needed to happen, I would do it. Like
I'm
I
kind of
would
in the
just
same
stand
boat. Like
up
it doesn't
and
gross me out.
Right. I'm okay like touching my eye or putting contacts in. When it comes to getting close to someone else's eye, for some reason, that makes me, the tooth in the eye make me more nervous than the nose,
Yeah.
ear, and zit.
No, that's fair. And the same thing. Like if Jill's like got an eye boogie and she can't do it, I'm like, I'm happy to get that. No problem. I'll scrub that out of there. If her eyes crust that's shut with pink eye, I'll help wash it. I don't care. I'm there to help with my tongue. All right, now let's get to a unique one: the belly button.
Ooh, all right.
So belly button.
About?
So
lint.
There's lint. Again, she can't move. She needs your help. You got to get in there and you got to go.
It's parasitic lint.
You got to get in there. You got to dig it out.
Right.
You got to dig it out of there. Or you could use your tongue if that's what it. If that's
when I touch a belly
button. If that's
button
what she's into, you know.
Yeah, belly button is totally fine. Like that is such a pure, it's the original essence of nourishment. Okay. So I have no problem with it.
I had no idea where you're going with that. I was like, you're like the original. I'm like, are you gonna say butthole? Are you gonna say, what are you gonna say? Like, I don't know, man. Because that's also false. I don't know why my brain went there.
I just poop ejaculated my moist missile.
Yeah, it's the original feeding tube spot. I got you.
The belly button. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's the receiving cup.
This one was really high up on Jill's list of like, nah, I'm not going in there.
Really?
Yeah. She's terrified of my belly button.
Well, I am too. Your belly button is horrifying.
Why?
Because it's a forest that no one returns from.
I'll say this much. I've got a gaping belly button. I mean, it looks like an abyss. I'll tell you that much.
Do.
I mean, it's very big.
Giant. Like that. And again, it's just like, it's the never-ending forest.
Yeah.
You need to leave a trail of breadcrumbs to find your way out.
The sheer amount of lint I pulled out of my belly button. I mean, you could build a mouse village. You could
make a new shirt.
Yeah. Like it's definitely a lot. So Jill's often terrified by how much it gets caught in there. So
I would love to see someone, because Slotty just said body shots. I would love to see someone do a body shot out of you know how at spring break they do the tequila shots out of the belly buttons? I would love to see if we could get someone to agree to do it out of yours. That's so gross.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if we're talking like, what is this, Practical Jokers or something like that? Like, you know, those guys that do that thing where they're like, all right, you got to go in public and you got to do stuff for people. Like, I guess it'd be like, get in there, man.
Or
like,
hey, we'll pay you $20 if you do this.
Yeah. $20 whole dollars.
Here's the thing. When Mind Gap does when everything opens back up and we do our college tour, we'll figure it out.
When we do our spring break 2021.
Yep. Yes, look, belly buttons don't bother me. Save yours. They don't bother me. I don't necessarily like when someone sticks their finger in my belly button. Like if Beth and I are like wrestling around and like tickling, like sometimes because she knows it bothers me, she'll like poke my belly button. And I'm like, hey, no. So we don't.
For the record, Justin, you've now given me a weapon to use against you.
That takes our friendship to a whole different level.
It does. Now I know.
Yeah.
And you're going to wish that you didn't. Because one of these days, when we're back together, it's going to happen. I'm just going to do a little hook. It'll be a fish hook, but in your belly button. I'll hug you from behind and I'll just go in there. I'll just go. So you can't go anywhere.
I can feel it. I don't like it.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
No, thank you.
Oh,
so I would clean the belly button out, no problem. But that's interesting that's high on Jill's list.
Yeah, she does not like my belly button, straight up. So,
Slotty says, I can't wait for the Mind Gap podcast tickle fight episode. It'll be a throwdown. We'll stream it live. It'll be the best.
Our first actual throwdown.
All right. Now we're getting to the top 2. All right.
Oh, boy. All right. This has been a journey.
Vagina.
I see where the top 1's going. Which, technically, should that not be 2?
I don't know, man. So she's got something terribly wrong with her vagina, and not in a fun way. I don't know what that means. Anyway, something's really bad.
Like, paint me a picture, Doug.
I don't think you want me to.
No.
You know what? You want me to.
I retract my request.
So something really bad is happening, and she needs you to get in there, and help out.
Yeah, I mean, yep, sure. I'm having a hard. I'm treading lightly because I'm really trying to not give you a reason to go into detail about anything.
There's a reason why I'm also not giving a lot of examples on this, because number one, I'll be honest, I don't know a lot of what can go wrong with a vagina. So I can't really, I know there's yeast infections, I know there's things like that, but in general, UTIs, but outside of that, I don't really know. And I'm not even going to pretend. I'm not even going to pretend to be like, and then there was a stick in there. I don't know.
What about a tooth?
Yeah, what if there's a tooth in there, right?
We've all seen the movie. Come on.
Dentata, right?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, again, I'd
Jesus,
I'd get in there and
help
out. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that leads us to the number 1 seed, which is the butthole.
This is going to be a tough one.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things we can get into with this.
Yeah.
There's something as simple as this Australian Shepherd has really put me on my ass, and I can't wipe my ass. Will you wipe my ass?
So here's the thing. I look at it this way. Let's take it from a medical standpoint, because some people, when you're a caregiver, someone's real sick, something happens, sometimes you are put in positions such as this, and you just got to fucking deal with it. Also, as a parent, you've wiped your daughter's ass. So you've wiped ass before. I
did it today.
Right. So I'm just saying, I feel like it's something that at first you'd be like, I don't like it. And then after, I don't know, a moment in time, after a New York minute, you'd be like, all right, we're doing this now. So I think it's something you can get past.
Well, I think there's a couple of different ways we can look at this. All right. So there's one which is like, I need your help because I can't do it. And then there's laying on the bed, spreading the legs back, saying, wipe me, daddy. Pee on me, daddy. Nope. Not the same thing.
I don't have a wipe me, daddy. But you said it, so now we can clip it, and that can go right next to that one. Yeah. Look, but that changes the scenario, because one of them is, again, that Australian Shepherd paralysis that we talked about, where the hands just don't work anymore. That's vastly different than
pee on me, daddy. Yeah, then what do they call it? Littles?
Right, exactly.
Role play,
That's vastly different than someone going.
An adult person's like, I made a poo-poo. I need you to clean me up, and then whoop, legs back.
Yeah,
and you have to be like,
yeah.
I mean, I really love you, but goddamn.
It's different for needing help, and then the other request. Yeah. I wouldn't do that.
Okay, fair enough. Now, let's go back to Jared's thing. There's tapeworms. You got to get in there, and you got to get the tapeworms out of there.
We're going to have a real hard talk about why you don't like doctors.
Because you're castaways on an island.
Oh, we're still on that? Okay. Yeah. And on this island, there's that Australian sheepdog that...
with a stinger?
It's the stinger. Okay. Yeah. So we're in Australia is what you're saying.
Yeah, basically.
When we're on an island, you're saying it's Australia.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Got it. Sure. I mean,
So
look,
this
if it
one
has
seems
to
like
happen-
it's bothering you the most.
it's just the concept, because with the tapeworm,
Yeah.
you've got to do it slow.
Do you?
It's a couple inches at a time because you don't want the thing to snap.
Gotcha.
So you get it wrapped around something. Like typically when you're extracting a tapeworm, you get it wrapped around and you pull it a little bit, you turn it, and you pull it a little bit more and turn it. You can't just like
How do you
yank
know
the thing
this?
out. Don't ask. So you got to yank. You can't just yank the thing out.
Hold on. How
I
do you
watch-
know this?
I watch movies,
What movies?
tapeworm movies.
It's a movie
Have you
called Tape, and it's not what
Have
you
you
think
ever
it
seen
is.
Tremors?
I have seen Tremors.
Right. They extract a worm in a similar way. No, they don't. It's one of those, I don't know. It's honestly, it's one of those pieces of, you just know how you pick up facts in your life and you're like, I don't know where I learned that, but I know it. That's
Slotty,
just one of those.
Slotty goes, it's not like starting a lawnmower, you're saying?
Right. Exactly. Very different than starting a lawnmower.
And Metronome says, you think I have a tapeworm, so you think I'm skinny?
To Slotty's point, when you're doing it that fast, it's usually beads that you're pulling out.
Yeah.
And that's, again, that's in regards to,
Pee on me, daddy.
right?
Very
It's
different.
a very different thing. Yeah. So
I think the thing
it's just a piece of information I know, Doug. You got to do it
Yeah.
slow and steady
all right, slow and steady wins the butt race.
That's it. Every time.
I mean, for me, it's just obviously there's an opportunity or a very strong risk of poop. And let's face it, poop smell just doesn't go away. It really doesn't. And so the idea of like, if you get it on your hands, you can wipe it off on as many trees as you want, but you can try and scrub it off on the grass, but it's there and it will be there until you wash your hands.
Right,
So-
Doug, but you're on an island. You're surrounded by an ocean.
Yeah. But is the ocean really going to clean that off?
You've got sand, and sand is nothing more than dry soap without soap.
So fair. Sandpaper comes from sand, right? So you just
Right,
scrub
it's an
off the skin.
adhesive. Nope, that's not it. It's an abrasive.
An adhesive. It's not an adhesive. It is really bad.
When you wrap Christmas gifts, do you not use sand?
I sure don't. I mean, I do
Right.
to fill up the box and be like, here you go, you
Doing it
piece of
wrong
shit. Merry
all the
Christmas.
time.
All right. Well, I got to say this, Justin. I'm proud of you. You're good. You're a good significant other. You're a good partner. You're like, none of this stuff scares me.
So is there anything that you would hands down say no to?
I'd
Even
say
the butt stuff?
the one that gives me the most pause is the butthole. Just
I mean,
because,
I feel like that's most people.
yeah, it's like, but all that other stuff, I'm fine. I'm fine with it. I'm happy to help with whatever I need to. But yeah, the poop stuff, it's definitely, it's not great. So,
Slotty says poop smell goes away much more quickly than vomit. Let me tell you, but unfortunately, sometimes one begets the other.
yeah, that's true.
Now you
I
got
guess.
both.
This is gonna sound weird. I don't really know what vomit smell is. Like, I couldn't really pick it out.
Really?
If you gave me a scented candle, it was like, this is what vomit smells like. I don't know if I'd be able to recognize
I'll
it right
bet
away.
you could.
Maybe I'm not around it that much. I
Surprise yourself.
don't know.
It's because you don't drink.
Yeah, that's true. But poop, and especially depending on the poop, dog poop in particular, man, that shit hangs around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and a book taught me one time that everybody poops.
True.
Yeah.
My cat wants to get out. Hold on one second. It never fails. Gonna do something. My cat gets mad. All right, get out.
I'll tell you, that's another. If as long as we're talking about sense of dookie,
Yeah.
litter boxes is a whole new level of that.
Yeah, litter boxes suck. Cat pee
Whole new
is
level.
just really not
Yeah.
the best at all. That is so bad. It's so stinky.
Did you not to change? Well, real quick, did Jill make it all the way through? I mean, I know butthole was, or I know belly button was up there for her, but
We didn't really get through some of the other ones. It was really focused kind of on the belly button and the butthole.
yeah, it's fair.
Belly button and the butthole. It sounds like a really bad radio show.
Welcome to belly button in the butthole. Yeah, it's the morning madhouse. This is just become morning radio at this point. Oh, Slotty coming with the logic. He said, aren't litter boxes technically just filled with soap?
What isn't cat litter? I don't even know.
Well, it's sand, which is soap without the soap.
We need the Inception sound effect because I'm like,
On it. Wait.
I didn't quite get that. I've never known.
I said it a while ago that I would put this on the board. I never did.
Just blew my mind.
You're welcome. I've got apps for everything.
Takes up valuable space in my phone, but you never know when you're going to need it.
Oh yeah, I've got to delete many pictures of family to keep that stuff on there.
And it's worth it.
It's totally worth it.
Fuck those
Real
guys.
Quick, did you have you heard of the new Transformers? This is random. Right before we started recording, I came across the trailer. It's called Transformers War on Cybertron, and it's a new Netflix series. And people say that it is a cross between, it's a Transformers anime series. And they're saying it's a cross between Transformers and Blade Runner. Like very noir anime. I watched the trailer. It looks really fucking cool.
I'm not into Transformers or Blade Runner, so those don't grab my attention.
Were you never a Transformers kid?
I played with them, but I didn't know the story. Like, I didn't know. It was like GoBots and stuff like that. I played with them, but I was like, it was just...
Like, if my mom didn't wake me up on a Saturday morning to watch Transformers, we had a day on Saturdays.
Yeah.
I was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it didn't resonate with me. I mean, again, I like the toys and stuff like that, but I never followed. It's like G.I. Joe's. I never followed the story with that shit. Like...
That's fair.
I didn't know who was who or what was what. I'm like, this is a cool thing, and I just played with them. So,
from an anime standpoint, I'd be curious to see what you think, because you are a big fan of anime. So I'd be curious to see what you think about that trailer.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
We'll have to talk about it next week. Maybe we'll have you watch the trailer and see what you think about it.
Definitely have to check that out.
Okay,
interesting. But
has anyone else in the chat or listeners, have you seen the or pause it, go watch it, and then on our social medias let us know. I'm very curious to know what people think about this. Anyone who's into Transformers, that is.
That stuff's just not to like. Metronome says just a bad Gundam. Like, I mean, there's Gundam, there's GoBots, there's Transformers, there's freaking Power Rangers that involve like robots. All that sort of stuff just doesn't resonate with me at all. That's like when Pacific Rim came out. People were like, "Oh, giant robots fighting aliens." I'm like, I'm good. Like, I don't really need that. It's just not right up my alley. So
Transformers holds a special place in my heart because, like, all the other ones you can keep, but for some, Transformers was like the one I grew up on, and so for me, everything else, even if it came before, is just a ripoff.
Nice.
Yeah. I stand firm in that. Something came out, what?
Need to watch Atlantic Rim? Not as fun.
No.
It's a more serious rom-com that I'm not really into.
Right. It was actually, it was a very serious character study.
Mm-hmm.
Atlantic Rim. Yeah.
Very
it was the prequel to Manchester by the Sea. What happens?
Very depressing, either way.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Yeah. The chat is fucking blowing up tonight. I'm very excited.
Love you guys. You're the best around. That's gonna
so the last thing I want to bring up, and this is also going to go into what I'm going to recommend, is Doug, I finally watched it. I finally watched The Mandalorian.
Oh, okay. And what did you think?
It was good,
mm-hmm.
but I don't understand why people lost their minds over it.
I'm kind of in the same boat. Does that
make me a bad person?
I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I enjoyed it.
I watched it. And I'm like, oh, this is really good. It's entertaining.
I'll say this much.
I expected to be like, what? No way. I can't believe that just fucking happened.
It's fine. I mean, I'll say this much. It's a good Star Wars story. Something we haven't really had much of lately. So I think maybe that's what it was. Like, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I love the guy who plays the Mandalorian. His name is
Pablo Pascal.
Pablo Pascal. He's fantastic. It was great acting, everything like that. But, it didn't do much for me. So
Pedro Pascal, sorry.
Yeah. I think, Slotty says it here. People were putting up with a very disappointing stretch of movies. It was something nice to grasp onto. I totally agree. Water Speech says, I couldn't even watch the whole series. Is it worth it to watch it till the end? I mean,
Curious, Water Speech, when did you dip out on it?
yeah.
Like at what point did it lose you? Because there was definitely a couple points. The thing I was shocked about was that I thought every episode was going to be an hour long.
Yeah.
Like I honestly, I thought the ending, and I won't ruin it just in case Water Speech does want to go back, or if anyone else hasn't watched it yet. The ending, with the standing on top of the,
Mm-hmm.
that was like, into the second. Oh boy. So you dipped out real early into the second episode. Oh my goodness. Okay. You know what? Here's the thing. It's not a hard watch.
No.
I knocked it out in two.
With their 30-minute
2.5 days,
episodes, they're pretty.
They're anywhere between 30 to, I think the longest one was 48 or 50 minutes. And that was right around the end. The ending was, unfortunately, I feel like the ending, they were really trying to ham fist the legacy of Star Wars into it. And I was like, okay, is that what are we doing with this? And I don't know. It felt, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And that's kind of where I am with it. I really expected to have my mind blown.
I thought it was fine. Again, I'm with Slotty on this one, that it was a nice breath of fresh air for a Star Wars story. But in general, I'm over Star Wars at this point. I kind of hate to say that,
Are
but
you full on, you've just hung it up?
I just, episode 9, really, I think, I don't know, before that, it just really sort of put a damper on it, to the point where I'm like, God, we just can't get this right, can we? And not to sound like I know better, but I'm like, there's so many better stories out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So much in this. It feels like such a shame, because this is just so ripe with opportunity to make something great. And I feel like we've really taken shortcuts, and it seems very, because you can look at something like Marvel movies and be like, obviously there's a financial incentive here. Obviously it's worth it. Endgame brought in a massive amount of money. But I look at that, I was like, man, what a great story though. What a great world building. What a great, all this sort of stuff, the way they connected everything together. I mean, that to me, it's the gold standard. And I look at Star Wars, which had ample opportunity to tell a really great story. And I just personally, it doesn't resonate with me anymore. It just, when I go back and watch some of this stuff, all I can think of, even when I watch the original movies, I'm like, but none of this is really important anymore, or it's all going to fall short because we know what happens in the future. And it's really fucking sad to me. It's really, really sad. And it bums me out, because, that was such a big part of it. But I'm so disinterested in anything Star Wars these days. I don't care about the games that come out. I don't care about, so much of this stuff. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I don't care what show they're building about the Old Republic. I just don't care. I just don't. Nothing about it is speaking to me. And I don't know, man. Maybe if they ultimately doing a new movie trilogy, maybe I'll go. I mean, I'll probably go check it out, but I'm gonna have real low expectations.
Yeah.
And I've just been disappointed in the way that the overall story has gone for this stuff, and I think it's a real shame. And so, Mandalorian, again, I think it was great. Production values were awesome. Acting is great, but overall, I'm the same way. I'm like, yeah, it was a show.
Yeah,
it was better. I'd say it's above average, but.
It was, I think what I'm interested in is to go back, now that I've got the old access, to go back and actually watch, because as an adult, I have not watched, I've not gone back through and rewatched all the Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to go back as an adult and just to rewatch them and see if the story, if it holds any different meaning for me, or if I find it any more or less interesting now that I know how everything has kind of come together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny because Lottie says, show us on the doll where Star Wars hurt you, Doug.
Slotty, there's a deep, there are episodes upon episodes you can go back and hear about how Star Wars has just slowly torn pieces of Doug away.
Yeah. Metronome says, I think Star Wars is one franchise that they'll never make the majority happy with. And I agree with you there. I think some of the Star Wars fans are some of the most toxic people out there. I mean, they're brutal. absolutely brutal. But I think
There is no making all of them happy.
No,
Absolutely.
and you shouldn't worry about that. But that's the thing too, is I feel like they catered to try and make people happy. And I'm like, just tell the story, man.
Yeah.
Tell the story. Because this the thing is like with like the new trilogy that came out, it's like, guys, you can take the story wherever the fuck you want.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys,
that is the unfortunate thing.
you guys are not basing this on the extended, universe. You guys said that's not canon. So it was like, you have a blank slate. Do what you want. I think that's where I got disappointed is they took shortcuts. In my mind, they got lazy, and they just relied too much on the past, on nostalgia to drive their story forward. And it fell flat in so many ways. And I was like, damn it. Like, what a great opportunity to see this new stuff. And I personally, for me, I wanted to see something different, something new, something that drove something forward. And I just didn't want to have the strings from the past that's so heavily attached to it. So that's where something like Rogue One was pretty cool. The Mandalorian's cool because I do like the idea of this, Mandalorian warrior and bounty hunter existing and doing this stuff. Like, it's a very cool story, right? You get to see this
to learn about that creative people. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the idea of it taking place just after, episode, was it episode 6, right? So it's like the Empire's really gone and it's gritty and you get to see a lot of these different elements, which are really, really cool. You get to see, what'd you think about Bill Burr, the Bill Burr episode?
Well, I think there was a tweet that someone put out where they said, "Fuck you, Bill Burr, for making me think there's a space Boston."
Yes.
And I immediately thought of that because I'm like, this is just him and this is space Boston. It was so weird. And the other thing is knowing how much of a non-nerd he is, all I could think about was what did he think as he was memorizing these lines?
The thing was, he delivered them so well.
He really did.
So well. One of my favorite moments.
Upsettingly well.
Well, he's talking about different cruisers and stuff, and he's talking shit about that. But one of my favorite parts is when someone goes, "Yeah, he used to be with the Empire," and the Mandalorian's like just chuckles like, "Well, that's not saying much." And he's like, "I wasn't a stormtrooper." Like, he's just like so angry. He's like,
"Well, he said no, he was a sharpshooter.
Yeah.
A sharpshooter for the Empire."
Yeah, and he's
Well,
like,
what?
"I wasn't a stormtrooper." Like, he's so mad. Like, he put a lot of stuff into that, I was very impressed with him standing in a world that I knew he knew absolutely nothing about.
That was probably the most entertaining part of that episode, was trying to imagine him going through the process of trying to memorize a line and going, "The fuck is this word?
Yeah.
Why am I saying this? Who is this person?
What? Who the fuck wrote this?" Like, just
Christ. Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that they made a toy out of him too just didn't set well with him, which is also very funny. So he was not a fan of that. But yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, I will say this, and I stand firm in my statement or in my beliefs that episode 1, 2, and 3 are not good movies. I do not like them, but I will give George Lucas credit in that I don't think he tried to cater to the fans. He made those movies for himself. They were garbage, but he stayed true to himself.
You know what? I agree with you on that one. That the only person George Lucas was making that for was George Lucas, without a doubt.
Yep.
Top to bottom, start to finish, George Lucas was making a George Lucas movie, and no one could say otherwise. For better or worse, no one could say otherwise. So
I gotta give him props on having the balls to just go, "Fuck all of you. I'm making this for me."
He's like, "No, this is what I'm doing. I'm telling the story." It's like, okay.
This is mine.
Yeah. So I very much agree, but I don't know. I who knows? Maybe I'll get interested again. But it's one of those things where anything that comes up is Star Wars. Like, I don't even when I'm on Disney Plus, I don't even go over the Star Wars section. Right. Like, at all. Occasionally, Natalie's like, she sees Clone Wars, which I hear is great. It's just so hard to get through. Like, the first season is so rough.
Is it really?
Rough. And I hear that it gets good, but I'm just like, ugh.
I've heard a lot of people talk about how, like, they're like, "Oh my God, it's mind blowing, the story and the this and that."
Yeah, it's just something where I'm like, oh, it's so childish. Because the thing is, like, I've heaped Avatar: The Last Airbender on you plenty of times, but I say if you can get through like the first 2 or 3 episodes, you get hooked real quick, and then you're in it, and you're like, whoa, this feels really good. When I'm like in season 1, I'm like, fuck, R3D3, I don't give a shit about this like droid that Anakin doesn't want to use because he's trying to find R2D2. And I'm just like, it's just so many things that it's just, it feels like a very childish show. And I'm like, just get me past it. But Jervis says he's feeling the same way about Avatar. I'm telling you, man, once it picks up, dude, it picks up. I'd say, especially once you start getting towards the end of season 1, I was like, and there's 2 more seasons. It does drag a little bit in season 2. There's some points where it does, but in general, I just care so much about it. I'm like, tell me more about these characters. Show me what happens. I want to get to it. But
Jared, if you're having trouble getting through that, the thing that I find helps me is to go back and watch the movie, so you can really appreciate the source material.
Fuck you.
The throwdown.
I wish I could spend more time talking to you guys about Avatar: Last Airbender because Metronome has something to say and so does Jervis. But we'll put a pin in that.
Go ahead if you want to. If you want to address it real quick,
we'll address it maybe after we're done recording. We'll talk about.
Okay, that's fair. So today's throwdown, I'm going to give Slotty what he asked for earlier on. I think it was Slotty. It's a tickle fight between Doug and Justin. It's a throwdown tickle fight. Oh wait, it's a throwdown tickle fight.
Well, here's what I'm going to say, Justin. Exactly. It's about to get nasty.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Been a while, but I do have some experience wrestling, and I have a feeling that my size, if you can get away from me, you're good.
Okay.
Because you can run far. We have established that. You have good endurance.
Yeah. I have proven myself as a runner.
But I feel like if I get a hold of you,
but running away from someone and it doesn't help in a tickle fight.
That's true. That's true because you're not going to win.
That's a skill that it's a neutral skill. It doesn't matter.
I feel like I could pin you down in a way that you couldn't get out, and then I would just tickle you until you peed and pooped yourself multiple times.
Can I
pee on me, Daddy? I just poop ejaculated my moist missile.
So pretty much that. Yeah.
Now, change my mind.
So I will say this. I am studied in the arts of martial.
That's true.
I specifically have done a stint in mixed martial arts fighting. So I have had grappling and that kind of stuff as well. I think I would be harder to pin than you think I would be, but I still think you could pin me.
Oh, there's a scrappiness factor here that I'm absolutely factoring in. The Justin mischievous level that exists is no joke. It's absolutely no joke.
I'd like to think some muscle memory would kick in, and I'd be able to evade some of the things that you threw at me.
Mm-hmm.
I legitimately can't remember. How ticklish are you? That's a weird question to ask another dude, but how?
Hey,
Doug,
hey,
I'm gonna ask you a question right now.
You ticklish?
You wanna? How ticklish are you?
Hey man, you ticklish?
I have just a real simple, basic question I gotta ask you right now, and something just popped up, and I need to know. If I ask you, how ticklish are you? Would that be? I didn't hit stop quick enough. Damn it! My mouse moved over the wrong part.
Damn it! You're doing great. I'm pretty ticklish. I mean, I have been known to get into that, that Zen state and be able to turn it off. But can you maintain it is the question,
That's true. Well, here's the thing. I will say this. I am the same way. I've got a few tickle buttons that hit me every time. By and large, I can if it's game time, if it's coming through the tunnel going, this is what we play for, I can pretty much turn it off as well.
Yeah.
But now that you have the secret the belly hook move, I don't know if I have a counter to that.
But here's the thing.
We didn't
know
get that in MMA.
But you know that, so you can either use it to your advantage, right? And bait me, and then do whatever martial arts, would counter that. I mean, you do get taught that, so.
Yeah.
Well, the
no,
Water
look,
Speech and Slotty both, like, Water Speech says, don't do it, Justin. Doug already knows your weakness. And Slotty says, Doug knows the weak point, the proverbial thermal exhaust port of Justin's Death Star. Metronome says, I have
Slotty,
tickle
you're
buttons.
You're welcome. Someone clip that so we can use that as a thing. Could I give you a tickle test just to find out?
A test tickle?
A test tickle? Oh my goodness.
I feel like my size is a factor. And
I think your size is a massive.
because again, we're not looking to like punch each other out. We're looking to tickle each other. But my strategy would be to close the distance. I would trip you. I would put you in a chicken wing, and then I would tickle you right here at the where your hips and your legs meet, right there in that juicy spot.
It's a good one. That's a good spot.
Boop, 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 and then I'd dig my finger under there and just go digging for gold in the belly button hole.
Done for the win!
One of the few things I'm unusually skilled at is doing shit like that.
It's both worrisome and doesn't surprise me.
Slotty just goes, yikes.
Slotty, that's why I was like, I'm not even going to try to. We're done. We're done with this.
I don't even know what to say. They never
slightly
do.
too weird for me.
I've thought this out.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Woo! Well, that was fun. Justin, what do you have to recommend this week?
I recommend not getting into a tickle fight with Uncle Doug in his puzzle palace.
It's the puzzle basement. Puzzle palace makes it sound, I don't know, is puzzle palace or puzzle basement worse? You tell me.
Listeners, you tell us which is worse, puzzle basement or puzzle palace. Yeah, Slotty says that last description is so specific. He's planned this out before. To recommend, I would say, check out Mandalorian and tell us what you think of it. Are we wrong to not be gaga over this thing? I don't know. Puzzle basement.
Yeah, it says basements are always worse. Japus says basement.
Yep. Done.
Cool. I like it. I really don't have anything to recommend this week. I haven't had time to watch anything. Although I guess I'll say this much. We're gonna be playing Pummel Party real soon. Probably a week from this Saturday. So the sale just ended for it. So I don't think it's still on sale anymore. But if you want to play with Slotty and Jared and I, a violent version of Mario Party.
I wish I could play this game.
Which is, I have to say, I tested it with Slotty and Jerbus, and it was a real fucking blast. Let me tell you, it was real interesting. I'm looking forward to that. So if you all want to get in on that, it's, I think, up to 4 to 8 players. Come join us for the fun. It'll be real interesting. And then also, I'd say check out Project Winter. It's a game that I still need to test, but it's a game of deception that involves, essentially screwing people over, a lot like Among Us, more probably complicated Among Us, but I'm pretty excited. So check those out. They're on Steam. Again, I don't know if they're on sale. I think the summer sale ended yesterday, but go give them a peek if you want to join us. We'd love to have more players. So speaking of that, this Saturday, come check out the Dungeon Karens as they head back into Dungeons and Dragons, the fantasy board game, 8 p.m. Central Time. We're gonna have a lot of fun. It's gonna be exciting. I'm sure we'll get more shenanigans. Great.
Yeah. We all just got our Karen haircuts and we're ready to go.
Ready to get back into it, y'all. Just come check that out. Also, don't forget to follow us on all social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at MindGap Podcast. And also check out our YouTube channel because that's where we post highlights from our shows, from our video game streams. Also, it's where we post all of our episodes for our podcast. So go check us out there. We've got everything listed there as well. So with that being said, Justin also exists in the digital realm as well.
On Instagram and Twitter, it's at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's the fun way of spelling it. And while you're in the online realm, check us out on Apple Podcast, on Stitcher, on
Spotify,
on Google Podcasts, and anywhere else where you can find and consume the old casts of pod. You can rate us, review us, share us around. The sharing is the big one. We love being shared. We're like a communal plate at a family dinner. Share us. And then 2east8th.com/mindgap. And keep an eye on 2east8th in general, because I'll say this, Sid Penrose hit yet another hiccup. It's not our fault.
What happened?
Drew and I are convinced that this project is fucking cursed. All right. It is coming still, but it is delayed again. So I'll tell you more about it off air.
Okay.
Nothing bad. It's one more speed bump, but that's coming. What will be coming out before that is this quarantine project we got coming up. So please take a look, or keep an eye out for that. And then also merchandise, as Doug said at the top of the show, teespring.com/stores/2e8. You can go purchase some merch, and we've got new face masks on there. So go check those out.
Yeah. So thank you all for hanging out with us, listeners. You're the best around, so thank you.
Twitch, thank you.
Justin, thank you.
Douglas, thank you, buddy.
Mind Gap Podcast.